Well, good morning and welcome to my YouTube channel. So me and Willie have come back to Glen Creerin because the last time here we couldn't go over the bridge, you know.
That's right, aye.
It was all taped off and there was a nice wee waterfall underneath the bridge. So we're not going to the ferry bridge, but we're going to the first footbridge because our friend Alan Gray had been up about a month ago at some nice photos. However, we've not had any rain, Willie, have we, since?
No.
So we don't know what to expect. We don't even know if there's going to be a trickle of water or a decent amount of water. So we'll keep walking. So join us this morning and let's see where this journey takes us. Oh wow, so they've built a new bridge. What's a cracker? Yeah, there's not a lot of water, but as you can see, and if we go over the back, let's see what's down the bottom here. Yeah, so there's small pockets of water. So what we'll do is we'll spend 5 minutes scouting the place and we'll connect back when we've found a composition. Alright, so I found our composition, my first one. It's quite a cluttered area, so if I turn round, you'll see what's behind me. Just through those branches you'll see the bridge that we walked across, and that's the new bridge that the Forestry Commission have built. This is the scene that I've spotted first. So I've got these waterfalls in front of me and I've got 3 streams. So I've got the first leg, the second leg, the third leg, and then I've got this formation of roots as well, which could make quite a really nice piece of composition. And then if I go wider, up the top there, there's another little stream that's got a tiny little waterfall. So what I'll do is I'll work this scene and I'll share these images with you. Hopefully you've seen those few shots that I've taken of the wider view of the 3 falls and the fallen logs and also the little waterfall. But what I've done is I've come a little bit closer because I want to try and get a wee bit more intimate into this scene. So what I'm going to try and do is just focus straight on and then work my way back. And if you're interested, the settings that I'm using is 1/4 of a second, f8 ISO 100 at the moment, and I've just got the polarizer on. And the polarizer's on so that I can see through the glare in the water. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 or 3 shots and I'll share those images with you now. So I'm still working the scene. So what you'll notice is I've raised the neck in the tripod so I put a higher elevation over the top of the rocks because it's quite, I know this is the Fairy Glen and where the Fairy Bridge is, but that's further up the hill. But it's quite mystical when you look at this scenery and the view in front of you, but there's a couple of pools on top of the rocks that I can't see any other way of getting access to them because that water's too deep to try and walk across. So what I've done is I've raised the neck to give me the extra height that I'm looking for, in the hope that I can get access pools. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 or 3 shots, and if they work out, I'll share those images with you now. I'm still in the same scene. What I've done is I've switched to the 70-200 lens because I want to get in closer, because that little waterfall deep into the forest, there's a green leaf sitting right next to it, and I thought that might make a nice composition where I've got the green leaf and the waterfall in focus, but the foreground will be a wee bit blurred out because I'm zooming straight into the leaf, and that's my main focal point. So I'm just checking to make sure it's sharp, and yeah, it is. Thing to remember is absolutely vital that you have a 2-second timer on, because if you're using the neck of the tripod, it becomes less stable. So you'll always have vibrations when you press the shutter release button and you move away from your camera. It takes a second to settle down. So using the 2-second shutter speed gives it enough time that it settles. There's no wind where I am because I'm absolutely sheltered. And that could be a really nice image. So what I'll do is I'll focus in other areas. A nice wee bird flew past there. I'm right above that pond now. Get some shots of the pond. I can get some shots of the leaves. I might be able to get closer to the top of those falls. There's another pool at the back at the top of the falls with another stream of water coming down. So what I'll do is I'll take 4 or 5 different images, and I'll share those images with you now. I've switched lenses and I've now put the wide angle lens on, because when I come over here with the 70-200, I've seen quite a really nice composition. So what I'm going to do is take a number of shots with a wide angle lens, and then hopefully that gives us a nice variety of images. So what I'll do is I've got a 1/4 of a second f11 ISO 100, ISO 200, and that's keeping my highlights just right. I'm just double checking my image to make sure I don't have any clippings, and that's a really nice image. Right, so I'm going to take a couple more shots, and when I'm finished I'll share those images with you now. Well, Willie's come up to the top now, so Willie's now getting into position. He's ready to get shots of the falls. Hopefully you didn't fall in. So we're just going to leave this area. I'm just going to wander downstream and let's see what images we can capture south of the bridge. Oh. Alright, so I'm just walking down. There's the bridge. I'm now the other side. So my plan is to climb down there. So I'll go and find a route and I'll catch back with you when I get there. Alright, so I've reached the bottom of the river, which is a kind of light stream this morning. You see, I'll need to be quick because there's a lot of highlights here with the glare. But I'm going to do a wide angle shot here. I think the other thing that's been interesting is I want to try and get the new bridge. And we've got a few cascades of water, and then there's a little waterfall over in the rock pool on the right hand side. So if I move over to the right, try and position myself over there, I could get some nice shots. And I'll share those images that I take in a little while. little friends are starting to bite again. So I'm just putting on more repellent to stop the midges from having a wee feast. And hopefully Willie's okay where he is. I'll just put some on my face. So here's hoping that wee spray keeps the midges at bay for a while. My composition here, what I'm looking for is a reflection shot. So what I'm trying to do is just set up my composition where I've still got the bridge. I'm using the wide angle view. So that's for me that's a 16 to 35. I'm focusing in, and now what I've got to do is adjust my settings. So I'm sitting at 100 f11, a 20th of a second, which is nice from this point of view. I'm just checking the image, right? So what I'll probably have to do is a wee bit of exposure compensation here, because what I don't want to do is start adding filters as much as I can, because I'm shooting away for the sun, but sometimes the sun's coming in and I'm getting a wee lens flare. So I want to try and avoid that. So what I'm going to do now is I'll keep my focus at the same, just turn the camera around and there we go. I've got flare, so if I just cover with my hand. Right, so I'm now also getting vignetting. So I'm going to zoom in a wee bit more. I'll need to adjust my focal point because I've changed the focal length. I'll take that shot, and that could be quite nice. Alright, so I've come to the base of the falls and I've got the rock pool in front of me. So I've reduced my shutter speed to 1/4 of a second so I can smooth out the water, but then that really brightens up my scene. So I've had to put an ND grad on, because that means the top half of my image is far too bright. So the camera needs its sunglasses. So what I've done is I've got a 1/4 of a second f8 ISO 160, and I needed ISO 160 just to lift the foreground a little bit. I've focused into the centre of the image. I'm just going to double check that I've got my water the way I like it. Yep. Alright, so that's nice. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'll do a couple of portraits. I've got a wee waterfall coming straight towards me here, and I'll see if I can get a panoramic shot where I've got the foreground in front of me and I'm shooting all the way up. And a couple of others, and I'll share them with you. And then once I get set up here, I'll catch up with you soon. Alright, so I've managed to get to here. So I'm doing a couple of shots here. I'm going to do a wide shot where I'm going to have the boulder on my right hand side in full zoom and full frame, and then I'll have the water coming down into the pool. So I've got an 1/8 of a second, so that's my priority. My priority is my shutter speed, and I need an 1/8 of a second because that's the effect of the water that I want. I don't want it too milky, I want to see some streaks through it. Then what I've then got to do is just my aperture, so I'm at f8, and then I've increased my ISO to ISO 250 because it's quite dark in here, but I've got the contrast of the light above, and I'm still using the ND grad filter. So I've taken that shot and it looks nice, so I'm just going to zoom in a little bit further, because what I want to do is get the curvature of the water coming down and swirling into the pool through the waterfall. I'll zoom in. I want to make sure, yeah, because all the leaves that are round about it are really nice. Oh, and the water's stunning. Right, that's really, really nice. So what I'll do now is I'll take a couple of other shots, and I'll do, it's quite deep there, and I'll do a panoramic shot. It's far too deep there, but I can stand here and then see if I can get a wider view up towards the bridge, and that top half of the waterfall might be quite nice, and I'll take some shots there. So when I'm finished, I'll share these images with you now. Alright, so I'm going to try. I'm conscious I've got my wellies on, and wellies aren't great for these rocks because they're always slippy. I'm going to try and get up a little bit higher, see if I can get a different viewpoint of the falls. Make sure my footing's okay. Right, so I need to go low because I've got that holly bush or branch above me that's in the way. Right, so I'm just taking my time because this stuff is absolutely lethal. Oh, it's really slippy. I'll just try to get a comfortable footing position here. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I've set the camera on portrait or vertical mode so that I can get the full run of the water coming down the side of the rocks, and I've got the composition in a way that the water's coming down in the bottom right hand side of my image, and I've got an 1/8 of a second f8 ISO 400 because it is still quite dark down here. So I'll take that shot, and that looks nice. So I'm going to focus in on the centre of the image. I'm going to put my hand over so I'm not getting that flare. And now what I'll do is an exposure compensation, and I'll take 4 or 5 different images so I can bring them together, because when I've got the bright light's really strong. Right, so that's taking those images, and I have to do that because I really want. Whoa. I told you. Well, wow. Well. Luckily that was me and not the camera. Oh, right. So I think I'll move away from this area carefully, and I'll go look for different compositions in a safer position. Alright, so I've come back to dry land. I think I've got quite a bit of water in my wellies, but anyway, I'll dry off. So what I'm doing is I'm zooming in to the third waterfall before it comes to the big fall, the third water at the base of the falls here. And yeah, it's nice. I might have to move over because I'm getting a lot of branches in the way. I'll just zoom out a little bit. Yeah, I'm getting 1 or 2 branches in the way. So I'm going to have to kind of either go right or left. I can't go further down because I'm too low. Or what I might do is lift the neck and then raise the camera and then take shots at my eye level through. And what I'm trying to do is capture the 1, 2, 3 falls, and I'm trying to keep my exposure quite dark, because what I'm trying to do is have depth, and then you can start to see layers in the image. So we'll give that a bash, and I'll share those images with you now. So this is my last shot of the morning. There's a cascade of water and a little waterfall with a couple of tree trunks at the foot of the bridge here. So I'm just going to take those shots. I've had to up my ISO to ISO 250 because it's quite dark. So I'll take that shot. I'm still shooting at an 1/8 of a second because I want that streaky water. And then there's another pool, little pool below me. and I'm going to take a shot of that because that's quite nice. So I'll take that shot, and that's me got two different waterfalls. Right, so I'm going to end the video, but what I'll do is I'll catch up with Willie and we'll see you in a little minute. Alright, so we're going to end the video here. Hopefully we can make a video out of this. It's been absolutely glorious morning, nice and warm. Not a lot of water because we haven't had a lot of rain for about the last 3-4 weeks. However, this new bridge is absolutely fantastic and gives us actually more access to the waterfalls underneath. Did you get many photos, Willie?
Well, there's some nice spots there, but I don't know, we'll see.
We'll see, which means he's got some crackers. Right, we'll end the video. So if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because you know it's free. And if you press the bell notification, that'll let you know the next time I post a video. So thanks again to Willie.
Cheers, Stuart. Thank you.
And here's to the next video.